Hey there and welcome. Today, we are going to demystify one of the biggest hurdles in the IELTS exam, the argument essay. Do you ever just stare at the prompt and your mind goes blank trying to figure out which side to pick, let alone how to defend it? Well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to build a super simple, totally repeatable strategy to help you nail that high band score you're working for.
Okay, let's get this out of the way right now, because this is probably the single biggest myth holding people back. You hear argument essay and you think fight or debate. But the goal isn't to win some imaginary battle of opinions. It's a completely different game, and today we're going to learn the rules that actually get you the win.
So if it's not a fight, what is it? Well, it's all about showing off your skill, not your passion. The most important mental shift you need to make is to stop focusing on your personal beliefs and instead pour all that energy into creating a logical, clear, easy to follow structure. That's the real secret. And look at this. This slide breaks it down perfectly. On the left, you've got everything the examiner just doesn't care about. Your personal beliefs, your morals, whether your opinion is factually correct. Nope, nope, and nope. But on the right, now that's where the points are. How clear is your opinion? Is your reasoning logical? Are your paragraphs well developed? And the big one, are you consistent? That's what they're grading. So this really gets to the heart of it. The real goal is to act less like a fighter and more like an architect. Your job is to build a solid case, a structure that is clear, consistent, and logically supported. All you're trying to prove is one simple thing, that you can communicate your ideas effectively in English. That's it. Okay, so how do we build that perfect case? Well, you need a blueprint. And that's exactly what we're going to look at now. This is a structure you can use every single time to present your ideas with that crystal clarity the examiners are looking for. All right, you're sitting in the exam hall, you read the question, the clock is ticking. Before you can write a single word, you have to make a choice. Which side do you take? Your entire essay hangs on this one single decision. So, how do you choose? And here it is, the golden rule. And honestly, this might feel a little strange at first. You do not choose the side you're most passionate about. Instead, you choose the side that you can explain most easily. The side where you can quickly think of a couple of clear reasons and examples. Trust me on this. A simple, well-supported argument always scores higher than a passionate one that's confusing to follow. This four-part structure is your roadmap to success. It's that simple. First, the intro. Just paraphrase the question and state your opinion loud and clear. Then, body paragraph 1 gives your first reason. Body paragraph 2 gives a different reason. But, and this is key, it has to support the same opinion. No flip-flopping. And finally, the conclusion just wraps it all up, restating your opinion and your two main points. It's clean, it's focused, and it's so incredibly effective. So we've got the skeleton of the essay down. Now let's zoom in a little bit, down to the level of a single paragraph. This is where your argument really comes to life. And we're going to use a simple but super powerful formula for it. Claim, explain, example. Think of it like this. For every single body paragraph, first you make a clear claim. That's your topic sentence. Next, you explain it. What does that actually mean? Why is it relevant? And finally, you give a specific example. This is what makes your idea real and concrete for the reader. And that's really the magic right there. That simple, logical flow.
from a claim to an explanation to a solid example, that is exactly the kind of clear paragraph development that makes examiners nod their heads and give out high marks.
Okay, so we know the plan for success, but it's just as important to know what not to do. Let's talk about the common traps that so many students fall into, usually because they're stuck in that fighting mindset. Avoiding these is key to protecting your band score. Let's run through the big ones. First, changing your mind halfway through. That's a huge red flag for the examiner. Or trying to discuss both sides but never actually picking one. That just makes your essay feel weak. Another classic is just dropping in an example with no explanation of why it's relevant. And of course, using some memorized phrase that doesn't really fit or having a confusing intro. All of these things hurt your score because they destroy your consistency. So, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Argument essays punish inconsistency more than anything else. You have to pick a side in the introduction and defend that side all the way to the very last sentence, period. You know, mastering this consistent, logical structure is what really separates the good scores from the great ones. This is the skill that pushes you up into that band 7, 8, or even 9 territory. It's not about big, fancy vocabulary. It's about building a clear, solid, and unshakable argument. And let's end right here with this powerful idea. IELTS doesn't want you to argue loudly. It wants you to argue clearly. So choose the side you can defend easily. Build your case with logical paragraphs and stay consistent from start to finish. That right there is how you turn a simple opinion into a fantastic score.